Hey there. Today we're diving deep into something I think we're all pretty familiar with: stress. You shared a guide titled Overcoming Stress. And let's be honest, who couldn't use a little less of that in their lives? We're going to unpack some seriously effective, research backed techniques to not just cope with stress, but actually build resilience against it.
It's fascinating how much we actually misunderstand about stress. It gets a bad rap, but it's a completely natural response hardwired into us,
Yeah.
That faster heartbeat, tense muscles, the sudden burst of energy. It's our body's way of saying, hey, pay attention, something's up.
So it's like our internal alarm system going off to signal potential danger.
Exactly. And in short bursts, it's incredibly helpful. Imagine our ancestors facing down a saber-toothed tiger. That stress response is what gave them the speed and strength to fight or flee. The problem is, in today's world, those tigers come in the form of deadlines, traffic jams, and that never-ending to-do list. Our bodies haven't quite caught up to the fact that these stressors aren't life or death situations.
Okay, so that makes sense. Our body's ancient alarm system is getting triggered constantly by modern day worries. But how does that actually harm us?
Well, when that stress response is chronically activated, it's like having your foot stuck on the gas pedal. Your body is pumping out hormones like cortisol, which over time can lead to a whole host of problems. We're talking everything from weakened immunity and sleep disturbances to digestive issues,
Right.
and even increased risk of heart disease.
Wow, so it's not just about feeling frazzled or overwhelmed. Chronic stress can actually wreak havoc on our physical health.
Absolutely. And it doesn't stop there. Stress also impacts our mental and emotional well-being. It can make us more irritable, anxious, and prone to depression. It can even affect our relationships, making it harder to connect with others and enjoy life.
So basically, chronic stress is a recipe for a whole lot of unhappiness. But the good news is, we're not powerless against it. The guide you sent has some really interesting strategies for managing stress and building that resilience we talked about. One that caught my eye was mindfulness and meditation. I'll admit, I always thought that was for super zen people in yoga pants.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of misconceptions about mindfulness. It's not about emptying your mind or chanting Om on a mountaintop. It's simply about paying attention to the present moment without judgment. Think of it as hitting the pause button on that constant stream of thoughts about the past or worries about the future.
So instead of replaying that awkward conversation from yesterday, or stressing about tomorrow's presentation, I'm just
Exactly. You're bringing your awareness to your breath, your body, the sights and sounds around you. And what's amazing is that research shows that even a few minutes of this a day can have a profound impact on your stress levels. It's like creating a little pocket of calm amidst the chaos.
Okay, that sounds pretty doable.
Yeah.
Even I can manage 5 minutes without checking my phone, right?
Absolutely. And the beauty of mindfulness is that you can practice it anywhere, anytime. Waiting in line at the grocery store, focus on your breath, feeling overwhelmed at work. Take a few moments to notice the sensations in your body. It's like having a secret weapon against stress that you can access at any moment.
I love that. Okay, shifting gears a bit. The guide also talks about the power of exercise. Now, this is something I can definitely get behind. I've always found that a good workout helps me clear my head and feel more energized.
That's because exercise isn't just about physical fitness, it's a powerful stress reliever.
Yeah.
When you exercise, your body releases endorphins. These are natural mood boosters that have a calming effect on the brain.
I've definitely experienced that runner's high after a good run. It's like a wave of happiness washes over you. But how exactly do endorphins work their magic on stress?
Well, they interact with receptors in your brain that reduce your perception of pain and trigger positive feelings. It's like your brain's own reward system, kicking in to make you feel good. But the benefits of exercise go beyond just mood elevation.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not all just about those feel-good chemicals, right?
Right. Exercise also helps relieve muscle tension, which we tend to hold when we're stressed. It improves sleep quality, which is essential for managing stress. And it even promotes clear thinking by increasing blood flow to the brain.
So it's like a triple whammy against stress. Better mood, better sleep, and a sharper mind. Sign me up. But I have to ask, are we talking about having to train for a marathon here?
Not at all. Even moderate exercise can have a significant impact. A brisk walk in nature, dancing to your favorite music, a yoga class, anything that gets you moving and your heart rate up can do wonders for your stress level.
That's a relief. I think even I can handle a dance party in my living room. Speaking of things I can handle, this next strategy from the guide really speaks to my organized soul. Prioritization and organization. Is it just me? Or does a to-do list a mile long feel like the ultimate stress trigger?
You're definitely not alone. When we feel overwhelmed, it's often because we're facing a mountain of tasks with no clear plan of attack. That's where prioritization comes in. It's about taking a step back and deciding which tasks are truly urgent and important, and which ones can be delegated, delayed, or even eliminated.
So it's like taking back control of that to-do list instead of letting it control you.
Exactly. And the simple act of creating a list and prioritizing those tasks can make them feel much more manageable. It's like breaking down a monster-sized project into bite-sized pieces.
And there's something so satisfying about checking things off that list, right? It's like a little reward for your brain, a little boost of, I got this.
It's a great way to build a sense of accomplishment and reduce the feeling of being overwhelmed. And breaking down those tasks into smaller steps also helps. Instead of focusing on the entire project, you're tackling one piece at a time, which feels much less daunting.
Okay, I'm already feeling more empowered just talking about getting organized. But let's move on to something that sounds incredibly simple, yet surprisingly powerful. Deep breathing. The guide explains how stress can lead to shallow, rapid breathing, which just keeps the anxiety going.
It's a fascinating feedback loop. Shallow breathing actually sends signals to your brain that you're in danger, perpetuating that fight or flight response. It's like your body is stuck in a state of high alert, even if the threat isn't real.
So deep breathing is like a way to hit the reset button on our nervous system,
Yeah.
to tell our body it's okay to chill out a bit.
Exactly. The guide recommends a simple technique. Inhale deeply through your nose for a count of 4. Hold for 4, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for 4. You're essentially slowing down your heart rate, increasing oxygen flow, and signaling to your body that it's safe to relax.
I know, it sounds almost too simple to be effective. But I'm curious, is there any science behind why this works?
There's actually quite a bit of research on the physiological benefits of deep breathing. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for calming us down. It also helps regulate cortisol levels, that stress hormone we were talking about earlier.
Okay, so it's not just about taking a few deep breaths to feel better in the moment. It's actually having a real impact on our body's stress response system. I'm definitely going to try this next time I feel that anxiety creeping in.
I encourage you to. It's a tool you can use anywhere, anytime, and the more you practice it, the more easily you'll be able to access that sense of calm when you need it most.
Okay, deep breaths, filed under must-try techniques. Next up, the guide emphasizes the importance of connecting with others when we're feeling stressed. I know for me, just talking things out with a friend can make a huge difference. It's like sharing the burden makes it feel lighter.
You've hit on something crucial. Humans are social creatures, and we're wired for connection. When we're stressed, talking to someone we trust, whether it's a friend, family member, therapist, or even a supportive colleague, can provide a sense of relief and validation.
It's like that feeling of, okay, I'm not alone in this. Just knowing that someone else understands what you're going through can be so comforting. But is there more to it than just feeling supported?
Absolutely. Talking about our problems can help us gain perspective, process our emotions, and even come up with solutions we might not have seen on our own. Sometimes just hearing ourselves say things out loud can help us make sense of them.
I know, I've definitely had those aha moments while venting to a friend. It's like talking it out helps me untangle the knot of stress in my mind.
Exactly, and sometimes just receiving a hug or a listening ear can be enough to shift our mood and remind us that we have people who care about us.
It's like a reminder that we don't have to go through tough times alone. Okay, moving on. The guide dives into the importance of self-care and boundaries, which I think is something a lot of us struggle with. I'll admit, I used to think of self-care as bubble baths and face masks, but the guide seems to take a more holistic approach, right?
You're right. Self-care is about so much more than just pampering ourselves. It's about recognizing and meeting our own needs, whether those are physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. It's about prioritizing our well-being and making choices that nourish and support us.
So it's not selfish. It's actually essential for managing stress.
Precisely. And setting boundaries is a key component of self-care. It's about learning to say no to things that drain our energy or don't align with our values. It's about protecting our time and space so that we can show up as our best selves.
I think that's where I struggle the most. I'm such a people pleaser, and I hate letting others down. But I can see how constantly putting everyone else's needs before my own could lead to burnout.
It's a common trap, but one that's important to avoid. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of yourself allows you to be more present and supportive for others in the long run.
That's a great way to think about it. Okay, on to the last strategy. And this one is particularly intriguing. Gratitude. So the guide suggests that being thankful can actually help combat stress.
It might sound counterintuitive, but research shows that focusing on the positive, even in challenging times, can have a profound impact on our well-being. Gratitude helps shift our perspective, allowing us to appreciate the good in our lives, even amidst the chaos.
So even when things feel tough, finding something to be grateful for can help reframe our experience.
Exactly. It's about intentionally directing our attention to the things we often take for granted: a roof over our heads, a warm meal, the love of family and friends. By acknowledging these things, we're essentially rewiring our brains to focus on abundance rather than scarcity.
So it's not about denying the negative, it's about choosing to focus on the positive.
Precisely. And the benefits go beyond just feeling good. Studies have shown that practicing gratitude can improve sleep quality, boost our immune system, and even make us more resilient in the face of adversity.
Wow, those are some pretty impressive benefits for something as simple as being thankful. But how do we actually incorporate gratitude into our daily lives? Do we need to keep a gratitude journal or something?
That's one way to do it. Taking a few minutes each day to write down things you're grateful for can be a powerful practice. But it doesn't have to be that formal. You can simply make a mental note of things you appreciate throughout the day, or express your gratitude to others directly.
Like telling a friend how much you appreciate their support. Or simply saying thank you to the barista who made your coffee.
Exactly. It's about making gratitude a conscious choice, a way of approaching life rather than just a fleeting feeling.
Okay, I'm definitely feeling inspired to start incorporating more gratitude into my life. It seems like a simple yet powerful way to shift my mindset and boost my overall well-being, I have to say. This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. We've covered so much ground. Mindfulness, exercise, organization, deep breathing, connection, self-care, and gratitude. It's like we've assembled a toolkit for tackling stress from all angles.
I think that's a great analogy, and the beauty of it is you don't need to master every technique at once. Start with one or two that resonate with you and gradually incorporate others as you go. It's about building healthy habits, not striving for perfection.
So it's not about overhauling our lives overnight, but rather making small, sustainable changes.
Exactly. Even those seemingly small steps can have a ripple effect, leading to significant improvements in your overall well-being. The key is consistency.
That's really encouraging to hear, because I think sometimes when we're feeling overwhelmed, we get paralyzed by the thought of having to do it all. But if it's about taking those small, consistent steps, that feels much more manageable.
I completely agree, and it's important to remember that you have the power to choose how you respond to stress. These techniques are about equipping yourself with the tools to navigate those challenges more effectively.
So it's not about eliminating stress altogether, because let's face it, that's probably impossible. It's about learning to manage it so it doesn't control our lives.
Precisely. Think of it as building resilience, that ability to bounce back from adversity and maintain a sense of equilibrium even when things get tough.
I love that analogy. It's like developing this inner strength that helps us weather the storms of life.
And the more you practice these strategies, the stronger that resilience muscle becomes. You'll find yourself feeling more equipped to handle whatever life throws your way.
This has been such an insightful conversation. I feel like I have a much better understanding of stress, and most importantly, what I can do to manage it. Now, for our listeners who are eager to start taking action, what's one small step they could take today to reduce stress and cultivate a greater sense of calm?
That's a great question. I'd encourage everyone to think about which of these strategies resonated with them the most and commit to trying it out today. Even 5 minutes of deep breathing or writing down 3 things you're grateful for can make a difference. It's about taking that first step and building momentum.
That's a powerful takeaway. It's a great reminder that we have more control over our stress levels than we often realize.
Absolutely. Even small changes can have a ripple effect on our well-being.
Well said. This deep dive has been incredibly insightful and empowering. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on stress, and most importantly, a toolkit of strategies to help me manage it effectively.
I'm so glad to hear that. Remember, knowledge is power. Now that you're armed with this understanding, you can start making conscious choices to reduce stress and create a more balanced and fulfilling life for yourself.
To our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of stress management. We hope you found this episode informative and inspiring.
And remember, you are not alone in this journey. We all experience stress, but we don't have to let it control us. By incorporating the strategies we've discussed today, you can take charge of your well-being and live a happier, healthier, and more resilient life.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep taking those small steps towards a more peaceful and fulfilling life